Today I wanted to jump on and talk about my education and path to becoming a lawyer as I am today. My name is Sarah Morris and I'm an attorney at Morris Law Center. We have been open for approximately 5 years and we practice in the area of estate planning, probate, personal injury, business law, and real estate. My path to getting here, I guess I'll go back all the way to when I was little. My dad was a diplomat, so we lived overseas, and I went to American schools overseas. Consequently, I always thought I would do something related to international travel in my career, but I wasn't sure how to make that happen. So when I went to get my undergraduate education at University of New Mexico, I actually ended up just I double majored in art history and classical history simply because I really enjoyed those classes and I really enjoyed the topics. Probably because we were based a lot in countries that had previously been ruled by the Greeks and the Romans, so I knew a lot about their history and the different archaeological sites. So I was very interested in Greek and Roman history and as well as art history, which is probably why that's where I went with my degree. So I got a Bachelor of Arts degree from the University of New Mexico with these two majors, which honestly, I don't know what you can do with those majors unless you want to keep going and get a master's degree in one of them and then get a PhD and teach. That was kind of what I was thinking. I was like, okay, I can do that, or I can try to do something that makes more sense career-wise that I can actually make a living faster at. So that's what made me think about law school. Not because I wanted to be a lawyer, not that I even really cared about the law, frankly. I wasn't interested in political science. I didn't care about any of that stuff. I just didn't know what else to do to make a living. So I went to law school. I went to the Boyd School of Law. I was actually the third graduating class. When I was looking at law schools, I looked at many, not just Boyd, and I was very surprised that I really liked Boyd. I think because it was an exciting new law school and there would definitely be plenty of job opportunities because the law school was new and there wasn't a law school in Las Vegas previously. So I ended up at the Boyd School of Law in Las Vegas, although, I'd never been to Las Vegas before I went to visit. I had no interest in Las Vegas in general, but I ended up there for law school. And I got through, once I was in law school, I've always been a very, very good student. I was a good student in law school. It was no problem because I had good study habits, so I was able to get through the program. I just wasn't exactly enjoying law school, so I wanted to hurry up and get it over with. So I did it in 2.5 years by going to summer school, and so I graduated in December of 2002. Now, I had no idea what kind of lawyer I wanted to be, nor did I actually take the time to think about it, frankly. I was like really good at school, and that's all I'd done my whole life, so I just powered through to get the degree. Not thinking what's the next step, what kind of law am I going to practice, what do I want to do. I didn't even think about that. I was just like, let's get it. So I got it, and then I was like, okay, what do I do? And I hadn't really given it a lot of thought. I didn't even really take courses in law school based on the type of law that I wanted to practice. So I did always have an interest in estate planning and probate, which is something I do now. However, I was under the mistaken belief that if you really wanted to go in that direction, you would have to get an advanced degree in taxation, an LLM in taxation, which isn't true, by the way, because I don't have that and I'm fine. You just aren't going to be doing certain types of estates, but for the majority of estate work, you can do it without an LLM. So I was under the mistaken belief that really wasn't something I could do because I didn't want to keep going to school for another couple years. I wanted to get out there. And so I ended up in criminal defense only because I knew somebody, basically because my contacts were in the criminal defense realm. So I ended up in criminal defense, not because I thought about it before or I thought that's what I wanted to do. So I spent about, 2.5, 3 years in criminal defense private practice with 2 different solo practitioners. Decided I actually did not like it because it just wasn't my personality. It wasn't working for me. So I switched to civil law and I went to an insurance defense firm again, just because I knew someone at it and I was able to get in the door, which one thing I've definitely learned through life is it's all about who you know. They can say all these things about everything else. It really is about making the right connections. So I was able to make the right connection, get into the civil defense field, and I actually spent a number of years at that firm before I switched, because that firm underwent some changes and some mergers, and so new people were in control, and I decided that it wasn't what I wanted anymore, and so I went and I switched to more of a small regional boutique firm, still doing civil litigation. And then I decided I was completely burnt out, and I will say now that I have my own practice and I've hired and fired attorneys, I actually was a good associate. I did my work, I made my billables, I didn't complain. I mean, I did what I was supposed to do, but I just wasn't doing what I wanted. So I did get burnt out, and so I left the practice of law for a year, and I went in-house for an insurance company, which actually ended up helping me because we do plaintiffs' personal injury, and so I have been on the insurance company defense side, even inside the company, so that has helped us in our PI practice. But anyway, I went in-house for a year just managing litigation files, but not doing any of the attorney work. And I realized after a year that I was really bored, and I needed to get back into being a lawyer because my brain needed to be stimulated more. So I went back to practicing law, but only part-time for the same firm that I had left to go into the insurance company's employment. So I went back to that firm again, but I did it part-time. And then I thought, well, I still don't know if I want to be a lawyer. There's got to be something more interesting. So I got my real estate license and thought, I'll be a realtor. And that didn't work very well either. I realized that I didn't want to be a realtor after a year. I mean, I did do some deals and, I got my feet wet, but I decided that wasn't for me. So then I ended up opening up my own little shop and by myself, and did some real estate on the side, some realtor things on the side, as well as my own practice, and was much happier, frankly, much happier, because I got to do what I wanted to do. I wasn't working for the insurance companies and places where, you really are not talking to the actual client, you're talking to a client representative, and it was just not what I wanted. So I was able to take in cases that I actually was interested in and talk to the clients and manage their expectations. And so that worked out well for me, and that's where I met my current partner, who's now my husband, and I ended up getting him to go out with me, and that's when we opened Morris Law Center. And I'm finally at the point where I'm doing a lot of estate planning and probate, which is what I actually love, enjoy. That is something I really enjoy doing. And so that's where I'm trying to build up our practice for me. We do also do a lot of real estate related litigation and transactions, which makes sense because I was a realtor for a while, and I still have a license, although I don't do anything except for friends and family. So we have a lot of connections in that realm as well. So we do a lot with real estate and business. But I am finally at a point where I'm able to focus on what I actually enjoy doing in the way that I enjoy doing it, which is in my own firm and doing estate planning and probate. So what would I change? I would definitely suggest that people really, really think about what they want and what kind of career they want, because I made the mistake of just trying to get all the education in the world, but not really knowing what I wanted to do with it once I had it. So I think that the younger generation actually has more of a sense of trying to figure out what they want to do versus getting the education first and not worrying about what they're going to do with it. So I actually think that people are probably in a better position to do what they to pursue their passion in a way that makes sense. I just didn't think about what kind of attorney I wanted to be and how I wanted to practice law or any of that stuff. I just thought, well, let me just get the degree. And then after I got the degree, it was like, okay, let me just start working with whatever, not thinking, okay, what do I actually enjoy doing within the legal field? And it took me a long time to figure it out, but now I figured it out, and I'm very happy and content and satisfied and fulfilled within the practice of law. I'm happy to say, because there's plenty of attorneys that are very unhappy. So I am glad I do not count myself as one of them. With that, I just want to say I appreciate all of our clients and our family and our friends that may or may not be watching this, and thank you for supporting us and through all of these years, and hopefully for many years to come.